Hey, I'm Shirley for TWM, and today we're going to be talking all things WWE Thunderdome. Now, yesterday they held a special sneak peek event for fan council members where they were trying out different things in preparation for tonight's SmackDown.
Hello, TWM video editor. This was recorded during the sneak peek before SmackDown. Now we are on Saturday morning after SmackDown, so just ignore the parts where she says on SmackDown because we're editing this late and uploading it on Saturday. Enjoy the video. Bye, guys.
And what I've done is I've collated all the questions you were asking me and I've put them all into this video just as a bit of a guide for those of you who want to find out more about how Thunderdome entails and what you can do to get into WWE's Thunderdome. Before I carry on though, I just want to give a special shout out to one of our sponsors, 1310 Apparel. They are a modern wrestling range with their own brand and they've got some really nice merchandise. And if you use the code TWM25, you get 25% off all merchandise. That's TWM25, and you can go to 1310apparel.bigcartel.com and follow them on 1310apparel on social media. Now, let's get into this. Let's have a look at all things Thunderdome, what it entails, and how it all works. So what is the WWE Thunderdome? The WWE Thunderdome is a virtual reality experience where you can register to be a fan in the virtual audience. You can go on www.thunderdome.com in order to register, but for this sneak peek we were given a different link, which is www.sneakpeek.com. Registration usually opens at 4 AM in the morning UK time, so that'd be about 11 PM American time zone, EST, obviously earlier if you're in other parts of America. Register by going www.thunderdome.com, putting in all your details, and then you'll be sent a confirmation that you've registered. Once you've got the confirmation that you've registered, you've got to wait for your link to arrive. Now, we got the link about 45 minutes to an hour before the sneak peek started. So I'm going to go into what happens when you get your link. Scarily, this is free. So WWE are currently not charging to be part of the Thunderdome, but chances are they will charge at some point. But it's currently free to register, and you can register around the world. So there's no geo-block. It's not just America only. Anyone around the world can register to be in the Thunderdome. So once you've got your link and it's your call time, you click on the link and then you register your audio and your camera device. This is actually really easy to do. You just allow the permissions on your phone, on your computer to let WWE access your camera and audio device. You'll see when you go into the Thunderdome that there's like a little red dot next to the tab, and that tells you that it's recording. Right, I'm not putting a damper on this video, but what happens when you go into the Thunderdome is obviously not going to go straight away into the show. Like an audience, it wouldn't be you walk in and the show is starting as soon as you sit in your seat. No. You go into what I'm going to call the Flow Rider Vortex. That needs to become a thing. Flow Rider Vortex, right? Where you are literally sat there watching the same video over and over and over again. It's a celebrity video where they compile all the best celeb bits and the crossovers between WWE and mainstream. So there was like Jimmy Fallon clip, there was SNL clips, but they were showing that while they were preparing. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's going to drive you insane. I learned that you can exit the tab and then go back in via the link in your email. I'm not sure whether that's going to be the case when it comes to actual shows, but from the sneak peek you can exit the tab of your Thunderdome stream and then go back in later on. I know that they were telling us to do that in the show. Yeah, it wasn't a case of if you exit you can't go back in. If you refresh then you can't go back in. But if you exit the tab by accident, you can go back in via the link. This is a lesson learned from the sneak because someone asked about what happens if you want to go to the toilet, what happens if you want a snack, what happens if you want any of that. So During that Flow Rider vortex, you need to sort yourself out with snacks, you need to sort yourself out with going to the toilet, doing all those things. Because I'm going to guess, once you're sat and watching the show, you don't want to do those things. So get into the Thunderdome, then go and get yourself sorted, and then relax. Obviously, I couldn't do that with the sneak peek because it was the first time, and I was kind of thinking maybe they'll just let you in at like past, so try to get everyone in. No, it was 45 minutes of welcome to my house. It was stuck in my head when I woke up this morning. It was not pretty, but in terms of food, you can bring those in, that's no problem. I know that they were having a go about cameras, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, food, toilet, sort yourself out once you get into the Thunderdome and you're got those welcome to my house video. This was a big question about whether you can have minors into the Thunderdome. Now, this is from watching the Thunderdome. You could see that there were parents watching with their children on their laps, and they weren't kicked off. So I'm going to assume that that's fine for now. But I know in the guidelines it says that if you are a minor, say like you're 16, 17, and you want to watch via the Thunderdome, you need to get parent permission. So that's fairly obvious, get parent permission. But there were people who had their children on their laps. Obviously, they can't have like a whole family gathering because with the guideline, with how you're supposed to be viewed, you can't have like a massive family get-together picture. Doesn't work like that. We're going to go into the guideline of the picture in a moment, but you can watch if you are a minor and you have permission, and if you are a parent, chances are you're allowed to have a child on your lap. I was just talking about the view and how WWE want the virtual audience to look. Now, when you get into the Thunderdome and you're in the Flow Rider Vortex and you've sorted yourself out with snacks and stuff, you'll see that there's a little guide of where WWE want your head position. I'm not going to lie. It looked really weird to me. Like, I don't know what any human whose shoulders are like down there. I was trying to like wiggle like that. It was really weird. But so long as you fit relatively into the frame, it's fine. But there were lots of people who were very up close. There were lots of people who were far away. Yeah, just you fit into the guidelines. So the way I am now with like the chest up, that was fine. I kind of just sat back in my seat and just was fine. Yeah, but you'll have a laugh trying to fit into that guide. Once you've survived the Flow Rider Vortex, you'll hear someone over the Thunderdome stream. Now, according to the Thunderdome website, it's going to be a WWE superstar, but for our sneak peek, it was just a producer. I partly think it was Kevin Dunn, but there was someone on the audio who was explaining to us how things were going to work. And they said there was going to be 3 matches for us to watch. I only survived 2 because it was midnight. I was tired, so I only watched 2 of the 3. But with the virtual host, it will be audio based from the looks of it. And once they've got you all hyped up, ready to go, then you will be shown the stream of the fun. This is a weird one because I've got a feeling that you're able to watch the show that you're on via the Thunderdome stream. Now, it's going to be weird for like things like SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver where you have to pay via the network to watch them, right? So if you register to be in the Thunderdome and you get through to the Thunderdome, I've got a feeling you're going to be able to watch those shows, even pay-per-views, via the Thunderdome. That's really bizarre. Whether that's the case, I don't know, but it looks like that's the case because you got a stream in all different angles of the Thunderdome and the matches. You saw it on a video stream. So chances are, if you're able to successfully get into the Thunderdome, you can watch the show via the Thunderdome. Once you're in and they've started the show, you will see the audience like on little screens. Now I know that people were talking about how there was like 20 of the same guy. I think they were just testing different things. It was a test run, so things are obviously going to look different when it comes to the live version from tonight's SmackDown. So my advice would be, don't try and spot yourself in the audience. It was very hard. I was doing everything I can to try and find myself in the audience, but there's so many little blocks. Like, there must be at least 5,000 of them, and they're only taking up the lower tier of the Amway Theatre. I think it's called the Amway Theatre, Amway Centre. Either way, it's the Amway, we'll call it. It's weird looking, but it was nice at the same time. Does it look grand? Absolutely, it looks grand. In the video where I thought AJ Styles and Sheamus were coming out, right, you could see like the ceiling of the virtual dome, and it just creates this really nice bubble. I know that we have to sit in bubbles and all that sort of stuff because of social distancing, but they've really created an immersive experience. And I think once it goes to TV and they've figured out all those kinks, it's going to be incredible. So you'll see now the Sheamus entrance, which is by a woman, it's not Sheamus, but you can see on the ceiling that they've got like this the same sort of colour scheme, and it reverberates all around, and the whole entrance is designed virtually. It looks amazing. So you won't be seen during entrances, but that's because they're creating this real wow moment with the entrances. It does look grand. It looks so much better than the Performance Centre. So my advice is give it a chance. It looks better than what they've been doing recently. Are they monitoring? I can't say, because I managed to stay in the stream the entire time. However, there were people getting kicked out. I'm not sure why they were getting kicked out, but there were people getting the thing saying, thank you for signing up to the Thunderdome. So people were getting kicked out, but for whatever reason, I'm not sure. No, I was wearing a Keith Lee shirt just to keep myself safe. And yeah, I don't know how they're monitoring it. We'll probably find out later on, but they were refreshing the screen so that different people were near the front, and that could be a bit distracting, but I didn't find it distracting watching it. But they were just testing out different things, seeing people move around on the virtual screens. Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but they weren't monitoring. I'm not sure if they were monitoring or not. Big question I've had is about audio. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think you could hear the audience, but it might be different when it comes to a live show like SmackDown tonight. I don't think the audience that you heard in the CP was us. I was trying to make some noise and I got called out for making noise. Apparently I'm extra, sorry to whoever thought I was extra, but I was making noise to see whether I could hear myself. I couldn't. I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't hear myself. Maybe they'll change that when it comes to SmackDown, but audio wise, chances are you're going to hear some piped noise. Yeah, and also if you look at the audience members, they are sitting there really silently because they don't know what to do with themselves. So chances are the audio is piped in. That's just my take on it. I mean, nothing's stopping you if you want to go to the toilet during things. They're not going to cut you off because you've gone to the toilet. Like, I know that there are people who were asking that a lot, but you could also see some empty gaps where I think people ran to go to the loo and then come back. So I don't think you're going to get kicked off if you Mother Nature calls. Is the Thunderdome distracting? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I didn't find it that distracting, but I know people who were just looking at pictures that were posted online, they were distracted, but I wasn't. It didn't feel like the screens were bothering me that much. They might bother you, I don't know, But for me personally, I was able to focus on the wrestling. And we got two really good matches from what I saw. We got Jake Atlas versus the guy whose name I still have forgotten, even though I've been told it multiple times. But Jake Atlas has this really sick finisher where he does a cartwheel and into a DDT. It looks really cool. Then we had Casey Catanzaro teaming with Caden Carter to take on Indy Hartwell and Jessica Mee, who looks incredible. Now, I've never seen Jessica Mee before. She just looked like she owned the camera. That's a whole different video. But they were doing 3 different tests. One for SummerSlam entries, which was the women's tag. One for just general wrestling, which was the Jake Atlas match. And then there was a Mansoor match that I missed out on, which was a commentary one. So it wasn't distracting to me, but it might be distracting to you, is what I'm trying to say. That's your judgment and your call. If you've had enough with the Thunderdome, you can just exit. You don't have to sit there for the entire show if you don't want to. But I know people will probably want to sit there for the entire show. But yeah, you do have the option just to get out. You don't have to go through an entire show. You don't have to go through the Flow Rider Vortex. Like, I think there was a bunch of us who were just like, maybe they will start now. But it was 45 minutes. But as I said previously, make sure you're just taking that time to get ready. But you don't have to stay in for the entire time, because it looks like they were having like a waiting group, and once someone exited, once someone got kicked out, someone else was put back in. So you don't have to stay in for the entire Thunderdome experience. Maybe that's why it's free. Right, so overall, I really like the Thunderdome. I definitely prefer it to what WWE have been doing with the plexiglass. Like, that was a bit of a joke in my opinion. I prefer it to the plexiglass, I prefer it to the socially distanced WWE Performance Center recruits, including people who are on TV. Like, I felt that was really awkward to see people who are on NXT being audience members. I think that you'll like it once you get used to it. It's kind of like with the whole, when they moved to the Performance Center and they did the plexiglass. It took a while to get used to, and then it becomes not a problem. I think the same will happen here with WWE's move to the Amway, and I think this is a way better way of bringing the audience back in instead of having socially distant groups, especially with everything that's going on in Florida and the amount of cases that are happening in Florida. And I think this is a lot safer. So in that sense, you've got to give WWE props for doing something to keep audience members safe, but also getting audience members involved again. I think that's a really big thing, is they've tried something different. I think it's going to work. Some people may not think it will work, but that's fine. That happens. People have their own views. But for me personally, I really enjoyed seeing the atmosphere. It felt like there was an atmosphere again. It didn't feel like just a bunch of people scattered around the plexiglass. The plexiglass really threw me. But I really liked it. But you might not like it, and that's okay. At least it's something. And also, really big thing, Pyro is back. Pyro is a big thing. Pyro was huge in the AJ Styles and Sheamus test. They were like proper going crazy. So fingers crossed that we do get our Pyro back. I think we will. It looks great. So fingers crossed it works out. Thank you very much for joining me on this video. I've been Shirley, and you can follow me on my personal Twitter at HeyI'mShirleigh and on Instagram at HeyI'mShirleigh. You can also follow at TWM Wrestle on Twitter for all your wrestling needs, which are UK based. Yeah, feel free to subscribe to this channel, feel free to review, let us know what you think. And if you like these sorts of things, then I'll be sure to try and do them as often as I can. Thank you for watching, and I will speak to you soon.